How many do we have till the mid-season finale? Like 1?
2.
Is it next week?
2, I think.
Oh, okay. How long do you think the break's gonna be? We need to just like pretend it didn't end and just watch like Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and review it like it was an Owl House episode. Goofy will be Amity.
Whatever airs at 10 a.m. Is it 10 a.m. on a Saturday that the Owl House comes out in the USA?
Yeah.
Whatever airs in that same time slot, we
On
have
TV.
to watch it and pretend it's the
Yeah,
Owl
we have to
House.
watch it and just assign characters and be like, wow, that was a really crazy Owl House episode. I can't believe Lilith won first place in the big race car.
They changed the art style for some reason, but like it's still pretty good.
Yeah, it was a guest animator and a guest writer and guest everything.
That would be a good April Fool's video.
Yay!
Oh boy!
I have to say
What an
that
episode.
was like the most stressful episode of the show because I was so worried that it was going to be bad or do something stupid, and it did not. Thank God.
Oh, like
I
Hooty
was
ruined
really,
all 3
really,
plots or
really.
something?
It felt really long, so I was worried that it was going to end with like Luz and
And be like,
Amity's
"Never
thing
mind."
turning into a conflict that would last for
Yeah.
episodes, and it did not.
Oh, that would
Thank
have been
Christ.
fucking
That
terrible.
would have been
I mean,
so obnoxious.
I already knew it was gonna end okay for them. Thanks, internet, literally everywhere on the internet, no matter what fandom I'm in. But yeah, I knew that was gonna end okay. But I didn't know quite a lot of things that happened in this episode. I was spoiled on less than I thought. So
Yeah, I feel
wow.
that. I felt
Here's my...
anxious
sorry.
during it as well. But, like, man, talk about doing the, like, 3 different stories structure so much better than they did it in that one first season episode.
Oh yeah, like this is like the ascended. This is like the actually good. Like you can compare them the night and day. What was the body swap episode
Yeah.
versus this one? And I liked the body swap episode. I gave it a pretty high score. And then there's this one, which is like, wow.
I feel like I have a different opinion. I didn't like it that much. Like,
This episode.
yeah, it felt like it was like taking every plot point they introduced and like fast forwarding it really fast. I didn't really like that much.
Ooh,
They're like
interesting.
they're like Ida is not at peace with the owl. Now she is. Luce wants that. Now she is. King wants her. Now he is. And I'm just like, all right, like you know what I mean? Like the flashback, like even like Ida's flashback, she was like mad and angry at the owl like 30 seconds before she was like, maybe we just gotta be friends. And I'm like, all right.
I mean, I kind of
guess she's over
I thought
it.
that they were like already friends anyway, so I was kind of like surprised that we saw that again. Because didn't she already accept it?
What? When?
It's complicated. Like I'm trying to remember what happened
I
in
think-
that episode.
I guess she
fixed
like
the
she
owl.
seemed like she accepted it as part of herself, yeah, but
Not as like something. She still hated it. Like if you remember the previous episode with Rain, it was very much detrimental. She was a bit pissed off to being able to use her magic. And even in the episode with her mother, she faced the owl, but she didn't befriend it, she just faced it. And this
Oh,
is
yeah,
what happened
that's right.
after she faced it. She was able to face it again, and then learn a bit more about the owl itself, which is quite... I think the dream sequence... I was always a fan of Adventure Time dream sequences. I think the dream sequence in this episode is easily the best part of this episode.
I agree
Like,
with that
well
for
above
sure.
the other 2 parts.
Yeah, I don't know, like, I'm torn because, like, I enjoyed it, and, like, I obviously enjoyed the content. Like, it was a lot of cool, and like, we got a lot of information. We got a lot of cool, like, yeah, I guess just, I was gonna say a cool development, but for me, it did kind of feel, like, I don't know, I didn't like the pacing that much, I guess.
I was like, I did think it was kind of jarring the fact that like it kind of establishes as like a Hooty haha funny episode, but then like all of a sudden the Ida thing happens and it's like this like 6-minute segment of like a ton of really important lore that was shown off in a really cool way. Like it went from King's like goofy like puberty thing to that was weird. I don't feel like it fast forwarded anything though like you do, but I do think it was a little weird to structure it this way because
it's like-
each of the plots could have been its own episode. Like that Ida
Well,
thing
yeah,
could have
I
been
don't know,
its own
maybe
episode.
I liked all 3 of those plots, and that's why I was kind of, I think that's part of it. I was like, man, I wish I wish that we got full episodes for these instead of like having this. And also like, when the King thing happened and like King did like that, you know, he got that new power or whatever. I'm like, okay, so this episode is gonna be like Hooty messes everything up, but then they all end up okay in the end. Like it was like a very predictable sort of premise. But I guess like the fun of it was that you don't know how, like even if they end up okay, you don't know the context of how they're gonna. But yeah, I don't know. Sort of, yeah.
This is going to be like an incredibly obscure like thing that I'm talking about. That when Hooty started screaming and then there was a giant shockwave, it reminded me of an episode.
You mean King?
No, when King screamed and there was a shockwave, it reminded me of an episode of Ben 10 when Ben was turned when Ben was turned into a toddler and then he became Heat Force, and I forgot his name.
Oh, that's not the
fire
episode
guy.
I thought you were going to talk about.
Yeah,
okay.
he turned into a toddler and became the fire guy, and then he
blast.
got really angry and started screaming, and because he was 4 years old, his screaming was really, really powerful, and he blew up the entire area. That's what it made me think of for some reason.
But King's King's a teen now. He's not a baby anymore. Apparently.
King's not a baby apparently anymore. Allegedly.
I thought you were going to talk
disagree.
about the Ben Wolf episode where Ben is a werewolf alien that can make a loud scream.
That was
like.
I can't remember the screaming, but I liked that episode of Ben 10. It was kind of scary, but I liked it.
Ben 10 podcast.
Yeah.
Ben 10 podcast. we should watch Ben 10. I'd be up for that.
Ooh, so would I.
It's long though. I don't know how well that would work.
I think Tipsy's only talking about the original series.
Yeah, I haven't seen the.
Okay,
I don't want to watch the new one.
Back to this episode though. There's a lot to talk about here. Like, I don't know. I think maybe this episode is going to be better on rewatch, based on Chan's initial opinion and Tipsy's opinion having been, you know, affected by the fact that she saw spoilers beforehand. You know, because knowing what's going to happen, I don't know, it was just a lot. Like, you know, all three of these are important plot things. It's like, the only thing that makes it seem like it might not be an important episode is the, like, funny Hooty setup, cold open at the beginning. But, like, then, you know, even though it's Hooty doing it in a funny way, it's, like, all important. And the tension is just so high, like, every moment you think something is going to go horribly wrong.
Yeah.
This
There's
was
a lot.
good
We also.
episode.
It was a lot of like I said, a lot of info, like just like casually, like, oh, I guess Hooty is a demon. I never thought about that, but Hooty's a demon. We learned that demons can do magic, which we probably knew already.
Yeah. We learned about the classifications. There are like 3 types of demons, and some of them are, because we were talking about this before about like the students at Hexside who don't look like elves basically,
right,
or humans basically, but like, yeah, I guess they are. They're not witches; they're demons, but they are basically also witches because they have the magic set.
They threw in that demons came from like the muck of the fallen Titan, essentially. Like they came out of that, and
they're the bipeds. The biped species.
He said a Titan, which I don't know if we knew that before. Like it's like a Xenoblade type of thing where the whole entire world
is Titan.
And multiple dead Titans make the world.
Okay,
and they just live on one.
That is a question because they've like, it's called the Boiling Isles, plural, meaning you might expect there to be multiple islands, but they only ever talk about the one Titan. So I don't know. That's a question.
In Xenoblade Chronicles 1, there are only 2 Titans, and one of them annihilates the other, so there's only one Titan. And then the rest is just empty ocean for the rest of the universe. In Xenoblade Chronicles 2, there are dozens and dozens of Titans, but they're all dying off because of a genocide that's going on. So, is it going to be just the one Titan, or is it going to be tons and tons everywhere that we don't know about yet?
We'll find out.
I wonder if the show even has time to talk about that, as sad as it is to say.
Well, I mean, like you said that you wanted this episode, you know, the 3 plots in this to each be their own episode, but like by condensing them, do you think maybe they've, you know, bought some time to explore other concepts like that? Maybe.
Yeah, I think I think part of it was that I was like, oh man, I really was interested in all 3 of these plots developing, and I'm like, oh, is this really how they're all gonna... No, they're not concluding, but like, I would have liked an individual episode for each one.
Yeah.
Just like,
but I mean, I don't know, like when they wrote this, when they had these ideas, like, did they know that they only had one more season? Because like
I assume
I would think that they would
no.
have at least made season 2 knowing the way they want season 2 to end, and then what comes
Yeah.
after is what's going to be rushed because they didn't know.
I didn't think that they made this as a response to, like, was it, I guess, getting canceled? I guess they did get canceled, right? Am I wrong?
Yeah, I guess.
I didn't figure it was because they got canceled. I just thought they just decided, like, oh, this is... I mean, it's a funny idea, like, being like, okay, Hooty's gonna be so crazy to try to help everyone that he, like, forces them into facing their problems all at once. I mean, it was a fun episode, but yeah, just personal preference.
Yeah. Well, like, I remember, you know, as a kid learning about shows that, you know, that are being canceled and stuff like that. There was a, like, strict terminology that I remember people being adamant about, that, like, you know, a show wasn't canceled unless, you know, that it was, like, canceled mid-production. Like, Invader Zim is an example of that, where, like, they were in the middle of producing episodes that never got finished, and then they were like, nope, you're done. Whereas most shows just get not renewed, so they get to the end of the season and then not. And the Owl House, like, did get renewed for a third season. It was just a shorter third season than they thought they might get. So calling it... I mean, I don't care so much now. I think you can just say it's canceled because, like, that's what it feels like. You know, it feels right to say that.
Well, you're not wrong, though. It felt weird to say it, which is why I was like, canceled with a question mark. So, like, they decided not to renew it, but it doesn't feel like canceled because they're like, but you get a third season.
It depends, though. Like if we go back to Adventure Time, when they thought they had another 26 episodes to work with, but Cartoon Network quickly went, actually, no, you're only allowed 4 episodes to end the show, and that came out of nowhere. I'd class that as a cancellation. So, was Owl House in a similar situation where they were told they had an entire season's worth of episodes, and then they were told, actually, no, you have like 3 or 4 to do it, and they have to be this length. I think we'll hear more about it over time.
Yeah.
What sort of situation that is, but it seems like Dana. It's not like it seems like Dana was knocked out the blue a little bit. At least she had 4 episodes to clear up instead of 1, as it might have been in that situation.
Yeah, and I mean, like, maybe Disney's production is sort of different somehow, because I was just reading like a bunch of old Q&A stuff from Alex Hirsch, and he was really adamant about how he wanted Gravity Falls to only be 2 seasons. So, like, I don't know, did they want this to be like 4 seasons and they were expecting 4, or like, I don't really know if how much was planned out, and there's no way we could know.
But yeah, the episode itself.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So other stuff I wanted to talk about in this episode. Do you think that Ida killed her dad?
No, but she fucking took his eye out. And
she took his eye out.
Yeah.
She half blinded him.
Did you hear me? I was like, can they show that?
Yeah.
I
thought they were gonna, like, have it, like, that's what, it was just gonna cut after that and be like, she killed her dad. And I almost didn't want that to be the case, because it's like...
is that blood?
Yes.
There's actual... No, because the only other time I remember there being, like, actual human-looking blood in one of these shows is Obsidian.
Yeah.
So that's the only other time.
Well, it was a scratch.
No, his eye was gone.
Well, yeah, but his eye
mean?
was just closed, and there
wasn't-
was a scratch over it, which I think
there was...
censorship.
I thought it was his
like,
eye socket was bleeding, but I guess maybe I'll have to rewatch it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
think
remember
it
the
was that
specific
graphic.
image. It was just there for a second.
I don't think the implication was that she killed him. I think she scared him off, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
Question. In the Ida's mom episode, did she mention, like, the dad? Like, when Lilith was like, "I'm gonna go home," did she say, "I'm gonna see Dad again"? Or I don't remember.
You know that episode where she spoke to her father. What if? Well, first of all, what if she didn't get to speak to him until after she'd already? Well, what if she never spoke to him because when her mother called the healer, that's the same healer she was speaking to when Ia ran away from home. So what if those events are closely connected and she hasn't spoken to her father since she took his eye out?
In the episode. Yeah, I guess that also makes sense, because when she was, I assumed he was dead based on how Ida was, acting around him, but yeah, I guess not talking to him makes sense too.
I was trying to say that, like, I was worried that she did kill him, because then I was going to be like, that gives a very different perspective on her character. That is like I feel like nothing about her character communicates that she killed her dad. So I'm glad they didn't do that.
Well, it wouldn't have been her; it would have been the owl beast. But then I guess
but she would have been like she would be even more
She-
depressed and stuff if she killed her freaking dad. Like,
Yeah, she wouldn't just be annoyed that the owl beast has made her lose her magic. She'd be like, what the hell? I need to be locked up or something. She'd have done that.
Okay, yeah,
a long
no,
time
I
ago.
agree. I agree. That didn't happen because then it'd be weird that she made
Oh
friends with
God.
it at the end. And then the like owl beast harpy form, like, was exactly what I wish we had gotten like in the season 1 finale when they were like, let's split the curse and we'll both share
Oh,
it.
she's so cool. Oh my god. The show knows how cool she looks too. She's like, dang, I'm hot.
I was spoiled on that, but the thing is, that was my fault. When I saw that one, that was entirely my fault, and I was like, "Oh wow, I guess this is Ida now." So I saw Ida Harpy in advance, but wow, I wonder if she has any abilities or if she's just a literal. What are they gonna do with Ida?
I mean, she
Harpy?
can
fly.
Is she just gonna like turn into a harpy and be like, "Oh, I guess I
She
can
has
fly
claws
now"? I'm gonna do cool stuff like not much really, but you know, it looks hot. So there we go.
Dude,
Yeah.
remember that demon hunter from Hooty's Moving Castle, or whatever? Do you guys
No.
remember him?
No, I don't. I remember when I zoned out during that episode.
Yes.
And when
I do.
the
I
review,
remember
was like,
that.
Well, that guy has an eye patch. You know who's missing an eye? Ida's dad. Ida's
What?
dad is the demon hunter.
Oh,
Okay,
I can't
I
believe
also want to say that, like, I'm surprised Lilith didn't have any, like, wasn't in this episode at all. Like, I made the joke while we were watching that, Lilith moved away in that other episode just so that, there could be a framing device of writing a letter in this one.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, really, Lilith didn't appear in Ida's dream at all? Or, well, she did as a,
She
as
was.
a kid. But, like, what I was expecting to see was Lilith appear as, like, a... Because she was the reason Ida is cursed, and Ida knows that now, and also she's made up with Lilith, but, like... So I guess
No,
that's
you're
why,
right.
is because she doesn't really have any resentment towards her. But, like, I would expect, oh, this is your fault, she was saying to the Beast, but, I mean, it is Lilith's fault that the Beast even exists.
One detail I wanted to mention that I really liked in her flashback was when Lilith made like a napkin bird, and she's like, "You like my napkin bird?" Her mom's like, "Yeah, huh? Hey, Ida," and I was like, "Oh my god, it's the mom
Yeah.
ignoring Lilith." I like seeing that like little, because like we kind of could tell that like Lilith was like, or Ida was the favorite child or whatever, but like it was nice to see that like a little nod to that in the flashback.
And then Luz's plot, I think, was the worst one in this episode. I mean, like,
boy.
I'm glad Luz and Amity are really in a relationship now, and, the future of that, I'm sure, is going to be great. But also, her part in this episode was just the tunnel of love, and there wasn't a whole lot to it.
I know when I think we both had like the same reaction when the Tunnel of Love sequence started. We were like, oh boy, this makes me a bit uncomfortable.
Which I guess is
Yeah.
the point, but again, that's another thing. I'm like, I was really excited for them to finally like start dating, and I'm like, not like this.
Not like
Yeah,
those
yeah,
fucking
no, I mean,
freaks
there was
are
definitely a
impossible.
lot of, like, secondhand embarrassment going on there, which is something I really can't handle
Yeah.
a lot, when it comes to TV shows,
I will
which I guess
say-
is part of why I don't think, I think that's the worst part of the episode. And then the part where Amity was like,
Yeah, I guess it
maybe,
was a nightmare.
yeah, it is stupid, isn't it? It's like, don't do this, not not now. But then
Even
it
even
wasn't,
though
it
it
was
lasted
fine.
like even though it only lasted like 3 seconds before Hooty came in and ripped the castle apart, I was still like, oh my god, why are you doing these misunderstanding plots? Not with this. Though I was pleasantly surprised at how open the dialogue was. Like
Yes.
like
Yes.
I was talking, I
It
was
warmed my
venting
heart.
yesterday about how nobody ever calls each other girlfriend or dating or anything, and Luz they openly say that Amity is Luz's GF now.
Yes.
And that's the second time it's ever happened. The only other time was in Adventure Time, and even then that was indirect in Adventure Time Obsidian. They had her saying she wants to win her heart. She wants to ask her out. They've just never had this dialogue before in any cartoon I've seen, or even any queer media I've seen. So it's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Whoa!
I mean, go
thank
listen to
God.
our Adventure Time Obsidian podcast to hear, a little bit more on this topic, because we were talking about it then. But that was the
Yeah.
that was the first time that, as far as we know, that's ever happened in a cartoon that, like, that a girl said she had a girlfriend. And then this episode, it's like that, but, so much more, even more direct, and, like, when they're talking to each other and all that, like...
Yeah,
when Luz was like talking to Ida.
Dana wants Luz and Amity to be subject to the same openness, and even if it involves the same levels of cringe as straight couples who want to date in cartoons. And I think the cringe was deliberate for that reason.
Yeah, that's fair. I was thinking also, like, how, like, the thing when I like said wait, like when I had a reaction to the episode, it was when Hooty like was the swan boat. I was thinking, wait, but how is that connected? But then I guess the boat was moving like a like a dark ride in an amusement park. So I guess it was connected through the ground somewhere, through the floor.
Not the swan. That's where the puppies came from.
I think I screamed when I first heard that line. I will say, I already said I liked it, but Amity's hair has grown on me even more. She looks so cute. Oh my god. Also, oh no, I lost it. Someone else talk.
You'll only find love when you're in the ground.
We nearly forgot to talk about Rain.
Oh yeah. They were actually dating. We were wrong about that.
The exes. I said last podcast they didn't have that ex energy. I was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
They are exes. They dated each other, and it just fell apart because Ida was familiarly not being open about her problems, and Ida was hiding the owl curse and keeping it to herself, so she couldn't have a relationship with Rain because she was pushing Rain away. Also, Rain uses he pronouns.
No.
No, she was talking about the owl beast. I was confused for a second there, but I think she meant the beast at that part.
No, yeah, when she was talking about Rain, she said you're pushing them away or whatever.
No, she said you're pushing him away. That's what the subtitle says. So I'm gonna ask Dana Terrace what Rain's pronouns are.
I
because I want to clarify.
There was one at the end of that scene when she was talking to herself. She said something about the owl beast, and she used he. Because I was reading subtitles too, and I was like, "Was she talking about Rain?" I was like, "Oh no, she's talking about the beast." So I think it might just be a mistake on subtitles part if she did.
Yeah,
say
it might be
earlier.
that because I wasn't paying that close attention to the subtitles, and I'm pretty sure she always said they about Rain.
Oh, you don't think the subtitles literally addressed Rain as him? That would be. I guess I'll have to find out later when we watch the scene.
I remembered what I was gonna say. Am I just heartless, or when King started crying, I'm still just I don't care.
I really did not.
Yeah,
care.
that was
yeah.
I'm in a minority here then, because I felt this was one of the few times where that was okay, because it's about his dad. I think when he's sad about his dad, that's realistic.
I guess,
that's
and
fine.
I agree, but I still just don't ever care.
Yeah, no, this I think is like all the other King moments where it just sort of came out of nowhere, because he was talking about his dad earlier in the episode and all that, but he was also and the reason for him getting invested in the demonology stuff was because of his dad too. But I just saw him getting invested in that, and it was like, yeah, I want to know what kind of demon I am. Oh, now I'm crying about my dad. It's not out of place. I think it makes sense and everything. I just I wasn't emotionally invested in that when it happened.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm
rewatching the show with my roommates right now. It's been fun, but two things. One, I'm oh my god, season 1 was so bad compared to these later episodes. And two, it reminded me of why these emotional moments make me so angry. Because seeing early King, I'm oh my god, he's so obnoxious and has no he has no reason to act like this, and then he just does. And I'm it's so unnatural.
The thing is, we've had King have these emotional moments in a bad context so much at this point in the show that even the more justified outbursts that he has, it's very hard to connect to him emotionally, at least for me.
I got so mad. We watched the author episode when they were in the box together, and he's Luce, why don't you write the book for me? And she's 'cause you're mean. And he's I hurt you, Luce. I'm sorry. And I was I hate this. I just, it reminds, and the thing about King is like a character like him, it could work so well to have an emotional moment with a character like that, because you know, in shows when there's like, you know, a comic relief or like a really silly character who then breaks down and has like an actual emotional moment, and when it's like it's so powerful a lot of the time, because it's like this character's not normally like this.
It's
like Hooty in this episode.
Yeah.
Maybe.
No, I don't think
But
so.
like for King, it's like if they had like one moment and it was the moment of him finding out he has a family or something, rather than like every single other episode he has some,
yeah,
like,
and if it was
drama.
way less on the nose with it, where he's just, because he's just, God, I'm sorry, just that box scene in the author episode was like the first time it happened, I was like, I hate it. I hate it so much.
I understand, like, I can empathise and even relate to an extent to King's frustration that his family doesn't want anything to do with him and abandoned him. Like, that is a very obvious thing to get upset about. Like, that is the most justified thing in the show to get upset about, other than maybe Ida and her outburst. But like I said, it just happens so much with King that he gets these emotional outbursts out of nowhere that even having a really good reason, it just fails to land a lot of the time.
Yeah, it's just the way it's written, honestly. Like, they could have had like more of a like
Build
King
up.
type of emotional moment.
Subtlety, you know, like subtlety. He doesn't have to go from 0 to 100. He can be a bit sad about it, and you can let the viewer interpret that as him feeling sad, and Hooty do the same without him having to have a full breakdown.
Yeah, it's just consistently like, I'm trying to keep it in check. I'm like, maybe I'm just biased from my old feelings, but I still just don't feel it. So yeah.
In the King part of this episode, I was thinking, after we learned about the three types, bug, biped, and beast, like I thought, oh yeah, King's obviously going to be a beast one, right? Like maybe
No.
biped, but like probably beast. And then they went through the whole thing, and it was like, it's inconclusive. It was like, okay, what does that mean? Is he some kind of fourth type or something? And
Well, I
then
think
he
that's-
unlocked his power, and I thought, oh, okay, that's confirmation he's a biped then, because that's like a magic power, right? But now I don't actually think it was magic necessarily. I don't know.
I think it's an interesting idea that he's like an unknown demon type. I like that. Like,
Yeah, it's
I think that
weird.
was
Yeah,
pretty
like it's
insane.
interesting, but I felt like it was a little weird the way it was like.
King's a legendary Pokemon.
Yeah.
He
Yes,
literally
yeah,
is.
yes.
He looks like Darkrai. Maybe he doesn't. Never mind.
He's
I was trying to
dark.
think of who he
He's
looks
got the-
like.
He looks
got
a
the
bit
color,
like
I guess.
Darkrai.
Because
Yeah.
like he
He
unlocked
looks
the
like
power,
Cubone.
right?
He looks just like
I mean, he
Cubone.
does.
Yes, of course. Like you know, it's just unlocking a new power. I thought, oh, magic, because this is the Owl House. There's magic.
Especially because
but-
it was a circle. Like, circle.
Yeah,
like, the shout
exactly.
could have been any shape. You know what I mean?
And at first I thought, like, and only for a second, because it was sort of disproved, but like he was crying out in anguish, and then Hooty was like, "I'm sad now." I thought it was like an emotion beam, but then the nose girl was like,
Yeah,
"I'm here
so did
too,
I."
I'm fine."
So did I. I thought it was an emotion move. But I think the reason it was a circle was because the implication was it was magic, but it was a new type of magic, because everyone has to draw the circle with their hands to make, like, normal magic. Luce has, like, the glyph thing, which is a new type, but, like, sound-based magic? Wait, I guess that's what the Bard Coven does. Do they draw circles, or do they just play their instrument? Does anyone remember?
I think they were just
I
playing
think
the
they
instrument.
Just play the instrument.
I was like, sound-based
no.
magic,
Rain
that's new.
Rain did draw circles, but I don't think that's part of their bard magic. So, Rain
Well, I assumed they would, like,
circle.
enchant their bow or instrument with, like, magic, and then the music would interpret the emotion. I don't know, but maybe, like, he is using magic, but it's, like, a new type for a new cool demon, Cubone type.
Ooh, nice.
Okay, and then the ending, the like last thing in the episode, like King's dad actually showing up, and then assuming that is his dad and not, I don't know, his brother or something.
You reminded me of that ending, and I'm like, no! Please do not make this a thing where we get an episode, and at the end of next episode, Hooty throws it up, and King's like, Hooty, how could you? This is my father! Like, what, how could you do this to me? I thought he abandoned me, but it was you! You were the one who abandoned me, and Hooty's like,
I hate how
I
right
only
you
wanted to
are.
help!
Right,
I
so,
don't
like,
belong in his family!
when we heard, when we heard him speak for the first time, like, I don't know, I'm sure that voice actor does other stuff too, but when I heard that, I instantly thought, oh, that's the cop from Gravity Falls. And then, like, they showed his dad, and I was like, oh, that's what King's dad's voice is? It's just the cop from Gravity Falls.
It probably is.
think we talked about
I
this.
think I recognized it from something too.
Yeah, it sounded familiar, but I couldn't know exactly what. But now you've cleared it up. But we talked about this before. Isn't the owl house supposed to be like secret? How is he just able to go and deliver mail? Like, are they just
No, I think it is. I think it's not. It's the thing because we made that assumption before, and we were like, wait,
Yeah.
but how? But no, it's not. It's not secret at all. It's just that Hooty's there and he can defend against any threat, so it doesn't matter that it's not secret.
Well, yeah, the Emperor's Coven attacked the Owl House at the end of last season, do you remember?
Yeah.
And Hooty absolutely wrecked him.
True.
Yeah, I before I forget, I like we were talking about earlier with like the being open about like the relationship stuff. Like I love when Luce opened up to Ida and she was like, he was trying to help me ask Amity out, and she's like, well, do you wanna? And I'm like, oh my god, she supports her so much. It's so cute. And then she took Hooty and drew a heart with him while he was having a mental breakdown. Like it's just great because it's like I wonder what cartoons are gonna look like in like 5 years. Like if we're doing this, it's like it's nice to see. I have to let my cat out.
Oh wait, I just remembered that there is actually a little bit of non-dream Lilith in this episode because she wrote a response letter and she was like, "Hooty, you are the Owl House," which is fun. And I mean, we already like knew that technically, but it's fun to hear a character actually say it. Like, yeah, Hooty is the Owl House.
Hooty, you're literally the show. Shut up, Hooty. You are important because you're literally the thing the show is named after.
Mm-hmm.
I know.
I wanted to bring up too in Ida's dream. There was that person that caught her, and it was like a big cloak with the moon. Is that like a thing? Is that?
Oh yeah.
What the hell is that?
Forgot about that.
Is that new?
They were cool.
Is that new? Is that like symbolic?
Yeah.
Is that a character?
Is
like,
that like the equivalent of the grass wizard? You know the one. The person who made the curse or something.
Maybe. That's a good idea.
Oh, I was gonna ask you what the context was, but I remember. Yeah, she got netted, and then it was like, yeah, that's a mystery character for sure. I like.
Oh,
them.
yeah.
They were sweet.
Yeah, that was a cool character. It's cool looking, really,
just
really
like the cloak with
surprisingly
the
tall
moon.
cloak.
Yeah, very cool. I don't know.
Like,
What
was
else?
that not one of the Coven heads? I thought that's what I assumed. I don't remember what they all looked like. When we
I
saw
don't
them.
recognise them. I don't
Yeah, I
recognise them.
would have recognized that. I think.
The design is elaborate enough for it to be certain that they're going to be important in the coming season.
I hope so.
What? How many do we have till the mid-season finale? Like 1?
Two.
Is it next week?
2, I think.
Oh, okay.
Oh God.
Unfortunately.
Yeah. How long do you think the break's gonna be? Like, what was it last time? It was pretty long, right?
Too long. Too long.
Yeah.
Distant Lands is probably definitely going to be over by the time Owl House continues.
We need to just, like,
season.
pretend it didn't end and just watch, like, Mickey Mouse Clubhouse and review it like it was an Owl House episode. Like, Goofy will be Amity.
Whatever airs at 10 a.m. Is it 10 a.m. on a Saturday that the Owl House comes out in the USA?
Yeah.
Whatever airs in that same time slot, we
On
have
TV,
to watch it and pretend
yeah.
it's the
Yeah,
Owl
we have to
House.
watch it and just assign characters and be like, wow, that was a really crazy Owl House episode. I can't believe Lilith won first place in the big race car.
They changed the art style for some reason, but like it's still pretty good.
Yeah, it was a guest animator and a guest writer and guest everything.
That would be a good April Fool's video.
So how do you even approach rating this episode?
I don't
I'm
know.
going with my gut. I have a gut rating.
Rate each of the parts like bit by bit.
I don't think I can do that. Go. What's your rating, Shan?
It's 6.5. It's pretty low.
Ooh, that is harsh. That is very harsh.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty harsh. It's weird. I enjoyed it, like I said, but I just, it was fine.
Yeah, no. Gosh, I don't know. I agree that the dream part was the best part, and the others were like were not as enjoyable. But like,
The episode doesn't bug me as much as it bugs me that it closed off possibilities of other episodes, I guess. You know what I mean?
Oh, you're right. Because those things would have been really good as individual episodes.
I
rather
was really
than-
excited for the loose Amity, and the build-up was really good, and it was very clearly going to happen soon. I would have loved a full episode dedicated to it instead of like throwing
well,
it in
like,
at the end. I
but now
guess.
they
It's
can do that, and they'll
friendly.
actually be in a relationship already instead of just building up to it.
I mean, that's nice, I guess.
True.
But
Like they can just move on to the next part of their relationship, and I hope they do a good job. But yeah, I think it could have been done better than it was in this episode, definitely.
Okay, yeah, I do think this episode is like really good, and like in a weird, anxious sort of way, but probably not as much as some of the other 10s or 9s we've had so far in this season. It's been a banger of a season. I'm gonna give this one a 7.
Puck.
I give it an 8. I think that the good scenes were so good that I cannot give this episode less than an 8. I give it just an 8 because of
You know what?
7.5.
7.5 for me.
Oh.
Yeah. If it wasn't for like the second-hand embarrassment in the loo scenes and the whole once again we can't get invested in King nonsense, then I'd have probably given it more. But I even liked those sections, at least parts of them, especially the end of the lose one and the whole Demon Lord and King section. I really liked those. So I liked every section in this ep. Just 8.
Pog.
Which is the same as the other one.
I think the Ida part was like so cool. Like that automatically brings it up so many points. And I wasn't bothered by the King stuff either, really. I didn't really think it was funny. Like, I feel like it tried to be very funny, but it kind of wasn't. But nothing about King's character there bothered me. But I was bothered by how cringy they had to go and make the lose thing, because I would have much preferred a more wholesome way of doing that rather than like a haha funny conflict. Like, this is the fans didn't expect this, so we're going to do this and it's going to be quirky. But they still ended up dating by the end.
I feel like secondhand embarrassment like never works. Like, I think like a lot of writers use it, but I don't think viewers like it that much.
I think it worked occasionally in shows like Adventure Time. They made it really funny, but only sometimes.
Yeah.
Not even.
Sorry, go ahead, Nick.
Yeah. So I say 7.5. But also about the Luz and Amity thing, like we said before too, like as cringe as they made it, it's still absolutely freaking fantastic that they let 2 girl characters do that. Like like all of it, like no matter what it was like plot wise, like it was still like
so normal.
in the show.
I loved it. It was so good. Cool. I will now play the Owl House theme song on piano.
Wait, do you have a haiku?
After the piano song, here it comes.
Here it comes.
Here comes the Owl House theme song. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been practicing.
Season 3 theme song.
Yeah, that's the whole thing. They actually have a whole opening animation, newly animated, but the theme song is so short that they had to make it 200 times as fast. Do I have to do a haiku? Okay, hold on. The Tunnel of Love? What the heck was that about? Ida's stuff was cool.
Yeah!
That's an actual review that we can just post that instead of this video.
We're 37 minutes right now. So
Like, this episode deserves it.
Alright,
I'm
signing
done.
off.
Please leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon to know when I post new videos. Thanks for watching, and super special thanks to my Patreon supporters. Support me on Patreon and you'll be able to submit video topics, see exclusive behind the scenes content, and help me keep this channel going. Also follow me on Twitter and TikTok for special updates.